What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Rich. It's Wednesday, April the 10th, and here are my NBA best bets presented by Pinnacle Sportsbook, your trusted sportsbook for the past 25 years. Yes, we are finally here. Well, almost here. The NBA season is coming to a close, so I have one more in-season show for you talking NBA player props. Let's get into it right now. So as you guys can see, pretty solid slate in the NBA. We have the massive game between Minnesota and Denver. As you can see, the top two seeds in the West tied, playing for that number one seed in the West. But we will not be starting there. We will not be going there at all, actually. We're going to be starting with Oklahoma City and San Antonio with this 15-point spread. And as I mentioned, this is a prop show. We are not talking the spread. We are talking Shai Gilgeous-Alexander points over 27.5. Yes, Shai returned just yesterday, so they are on a back-to-back. But the biggest thing here, 27.5 points for a guy who averages 30, 31 points. I am more than happy to take it. Last night against Sacramento Kings, he put up 40. So I think he is more than fine when it comes to scoring. They are third in the West right now, and a win tonight will put them in a tie with whoever loses between Denver and Minnesota. So this is a massive game. They've dropped a bunch recently since he hasn't been playing, and so at this point in the season, to fight for that 1-2 seed, they are going to need to win every game, and Shai is going to be a massive part of that. Add into that the fact that Shai has put up 28 or more points in each of his last 5 games against the San Antonio Spurs. As bad as they are, he consistently puts up those 28 points. That's why this is slightly juiced to the over. Yes, we do expect OKC to blow them out, but I do think that Shai will be heavily involved and put up his points, so I am taking the over here at 27.5. Normally, this is a very low number for him, but against the Spurs in a game that may not be overly competitive, I think the Spurs show up in this game. As bad as they are, they still got to play out the season, and the Thunder especially need to get a win. So get Shai involved early, get his points, get out by the third quarter, and let's be done with it. But I do think this is a great opportunity to take the over for Shai because he is in a great spot and has a great matchup as well. Next, we're going to be talking about another very wide spread. Wow, 18.5 points. My goodness. I can't even believe I'm talking about this right now. But Donovan Mitchell over 4.5 assists. Cleveland Cavaliers star shooting guard. Would you call him a star? I still think you could call him a star. Donovan Mitchell's pretty good, but he has been struggling a lot from the field recently. But the one thing that hasn't stopped is his ability to help out his teammates to score points. And that's why I like the assists here at 4.5. They are minus 136 right now on the books, but I still think this is a pretty good price for Mitchell, who has been hitting this number fairly consistently. He's had 6 or more assists in 3 of his last 4 games, and Memphis are a top 5 matchup in allowing assists to opposing shooting guards. And so while he's been struggling a bit from the field, he has been getting it done for his teammates, and that's why I really like the assists here at 4.5. Even at 5.5, I don't really hate it. As I mentioned, still hit 6+ in 3 of his last 4, but 5 is definitely a nice round number where he doesn't have to go crazy. He can still score and get those 5 assists. So I really like this number for Donovan Mitchell. I think it's more than attainable, and there's a reason why it's juiced up, but I don't think it's quite to where it needs to be yet, and he can definitely go way over that number. He's been at 6, 7, and 8 in those games where he has gone over in the last 4, so he's definitely putting up a ton of assists overall, and I really like it. Next matchup, we are going to be going to Toronto and Brooklyn. And no, I will not be taking Mikal Bridges because, my goodness, you look at this guy's points. I mean, 15.5. It was 17.5. It was 18.5. And he just continues to let me down. I don't want to be hurt again. But Nic Claxton is very, very interesting at plus 100 for 11.5 rebounds. It is a lot of rebounds. There's a reason why this is a plus 100. But you look at his game log. In the last 5 games, he's got 13 rebounds in 2 of those games. And the most important factor here, Toronto is a top 10 matchup for rebounds allowed to opposing centers. And it seems like they get worse and worse every game. So that's a big factor as well. You look earlier in the season, you had Scotty and some of the other players available. They were okay. They weren't that bad. They weren't as bad as they look right now. And it seems like now they're done with the season. It's over. The Nets, yeah, are they playing for anything? No, they're not. But Claxton is going to be heavily involved on the boards. We know that he can get after it. And the last time he played Toronto late in March, he had 16 rebounds. And in my opinion, that's probably the closest indication of how Toronto's going to play tonight because they really aren't playing well. And I really like this matchup for Claxton. It's plus money. It's plus 100. It's, you know, if it was 11, if it was 10.5, it'd be a smash, but it'd also be like minus 140 on the books. At 11.5, you really got to earn that money this time around, but they will pay you out for it. I think it's a good matchup. I think you look at the past history with him getting 16 just a couple weeks ago against Toronto. He can do the same thing again because the personnel hasn't changed and the team may even be worse than it is when he played them before. So I think this is a really good spot for Claxton, and that's why I really like the over here. So right now we have Claxton over 11.5 rebounds. We have Donovan Mitchell over 4.5 assists, and we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over 27.5 points as my core plays. And there is two more that I was looking at in this Phoenix game. One, I'm not going to say you should bet, but if you're putting in some parlays and you want to look at it, this KD under 7.5 rebounds. I mean, it is minus 175, but he hasn't hit this mark in his last 6 games. He also hasn't hit it against the Clippers all year in the 2 games that he played against them. And yesterday when they played, he only had 2 rebounds. So I'm not really sure why this is at 7.5. It should probably be at 6.5. Maybe it moves. So if you're putting in some parlays and you want to, you know, play this Kevin Durant play, it does look pretty good overall, but I'm not saying it's a must bet. It's just one that I found that I do like quite a bit. But the one I do like, I want to touch on is Bradley Beal over points at 16.5. In 3 games against Phoenix this year, he's gone over in 2 of them. Yesterday, he put up 19 points. And especially in the past 2 games, he's been shooting the ball even more with a lot of success. So you look at what Beal's done very recently, and especially with Phoenix trying to work their way out of the play-in tournament, I think this is the perfect spot to lean on their stars, lean on Booker, lean on KD, and lean on Bradley Beal. We know all these guys can score 20 points. Bradley Beal, more than capable of scoring 20 points. So a line at 16.5, I tend to like it quite a bit, especially with him scoring more in recent games because they are trying to work their way out of the play-in tournament. So this is a big game for them. They have to get the win against the Clippers. Definitely means much more for them than it does for the Clippers, but I really like Beal here. I think it's a great spot, and especially the pricing is very good as well. So I'll be taking the over 16.5 points for Bradley Beal, and I think that is going to be it for our core plays of the day. So quick recap of the best bets for today. We're taking Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over 27.5 points at minus 120. We're taking Donovan Mitchell over 4.5 assists at minus 136. We're taking Nic Claxton over 11.5 rebounds at plus 100. And we're taking Bradley Beal over 16.5 points at minus 125. And I also like Kevin Durant under rebounds at 7.5, but that's minus 175. So we can leave that alone if you don't want to take it. But I do think the line is pretty egregious at 7.5, even with that heavily juiced pricing. But as always, make sure you're following me on Twitter at @YourBoyJRich, and make sure you're following Pinnacle across all of our socials. Good luck tonight, and as always, bet smart and bet Pinnacle. I'll see you guys for the NBA play-in tournament. I'm out. Peace.